Happiness shouldn't depend on what other people think, but unfortunately, we often feel happier when people like us. Would happiness be different if the photo you posted on Instagram got 100 likes or 1,000 likes? The book, The Courage to be Disliked by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumite Koga will show you how to free yourself from people's views to achieve true happiness. The book, which has sold more than 3.5 million copies worldwide, uses the Adlerian theory coined by Alfred Adler, a 19th century psychology great. Number 1. Unleash your power to achieve happiness. Happiness is something you choose. That's more or less Alfred Adler's theory. How to determine happiness is answered simply and unequivocally in this book. This book will help you understand how each of us can determine the direction of our lives, free from the shackles of past trauma and the burden of other people's expectations. The interesting things you will learn from this book include: are humans controlled by the past? How to start happiness? Why interpersonal relationships can be problematic? Why should people not seek recognition from others? Where does happiness really lie? Number 2. Humans are not controlled by the past. In Adler's psychological theory, trauma is definitively not accepted. Clearly, this contradicts Freud's psychological view that a person's inner wounds or past traumas cause unhappiness in the present. Adler's theory rejects the trauma rationale and states that there are no experiences that specifically cause success or failure. This is not to say that traumatic experiences such as incidents or abuse in childhood do not influence the formation of personality. In fact, they have a strong influence. But what is important here is that no one is really defined by such influences. You are not defined by your experiences, but it is the meaning you give to those experiences that determines your current state. You define your own life according to the meaning you give to your past experiences, and it is you who can decide how you live your life. The issue is not what happened, but how to react to it. You can't change the past, let alone go back in time with a time machine. You can't turn back the hands of time. If you constantly choose to live with the past, you will be bound by the past and will never be able to find happiness in life. Life is hard enough if the past determines everything and cannot be changed. Then you who are living today can no longer take effective steps forward in your life. And what happens is that you will end up with pessimism that loses hope in this world and gives up on life. 3. Happiness starts with how you love yourself. You won't feel truly happy if you still admire others and want to be like the people you admire. That means you're currently unhappy with yourself and think you'd be happier if you were like your idols. You can't be truly happy now or ever because you haven't learned to love yourself. It's hard to find someone out there who proudly puffs out their chest and says, "Yes, I like myself." But at least you don't feel like being someone else, and you accept yourself for who you are. Some people are born with the privilege of good parents, and others are born poor with bad parents. This kind of disparity is a reality. That's how the world is. But it's not about you being born into unhappy circumstances or ending up in unhappy situations. It's because you've judged that being unhappy is good for you. Adler's theory of psychology is the psychology of courage. Unhappiness can't be blamed on your past or your environment, nor is it because you don't have the ability. You just lack the courage to be happy. When you try to change the direction of your life, that's where your courage is tested, because you previously thought that the life you have now is the practical one, so it's easier to let life be as it is. If you're still saying, "If only I could be like everyone else, I'd be happy," then again, you can't be happy. Those words become a stimulus for you not to change. That's why you have to make a decision to stop this kind of thing. Theoretically, Adler asserted that all problems are about interpersonal relationships. This is because humans are basically social creatures who cannot live alone and will interact with each other with all kinds of differences. Many people feel that they don't have any strengths and that all they have are weaknesses. They feel their self-esteem is very low. They lack self-confidence, are always pessimistic about everything, and always worry about what others think. Because they only focus on their shortcomings, they can't see the points that are their strengths. This can lead to feelings of inferiority or feeling not as good as others, always seeing themselves in the size of others, feeling inferior, and excessive self-consciousness. If these feelings of inferiority are too strong, then the person will view themselves negatively. According to Adler's psychological theory, however, these feelings of inferiority can actually be a trigger to work hard, can be a whip and motivation for ourselves to achieve a better quality of self. Healthy feelings of inferiority arise from comparing oneself to an ideal state of self, not from comparing oneself to others. One's quest to be a superior being is a universal desire. This is called the feeling of superiority, which is the tendency to be superior to others and to climb higher. All human beings basically pursue superiority, but this feeling of superiority is not justified if on the way to the top you have to kick others down. People with feelings of superiority think of life as a competition to win or lose. Others are seen as rivals. In fact, life is not about winning and losing. If someone has a mindset of not wanting to lose, he will not be able to admit his mistakes, not be able to convey an apology, and as a result, he chooses the wrong path. For this reason, interpersonal skills are needed for everyone to be able to navigate interpersonal relationships. Individuals who fail to develop their interpersonal skills will experience obstacles in various aspects of their lives, especially their social aspects. Number 5. Life is not about being recognized by others. In Adler's psychological theory, there is no such thing as the need to seek recognition from others. Getting recognition from others is obviously encouraging, but it would be wrong to say that recognition is absolutely necessary. This can be seen from Adler's psychological theory, which is very critical of education using the reward and punishment method. This method creates the false mindset that if no one praises me, I won't take the right action, and if no one punishes me, I will also engage in inappropriate actions. For example, you've already set the goal to be praised when you pick up trash, and if you don't get praised, you may feel insincere or unwilling and decide that you'll never do this kind of thing again. Even though picking up trash is clearly a good act, you don't live to satisfy other people's expectations. If you keep doing that, then you won't have faith in yourself. All work becomes difficult because you're doing it to satisfy other people's expectations. You'll always be anxious and afraid of other people's judgment. Obviously, this makes you feel constrained. What you can do for your own life is to choose the best path that you believe in, living your own principles, even at the risk of not being liked by many people. Because the courage to be happy, to be yourself according to your life principles, also includes the courage to be disliked. Number 7. Find happiness through self-acceptance and courage. No human being is perfect. Humans can only determine what things they can change and what things they cannot change. You can't change the conditions you were born into, but with your own strength, you can work to change the way you utilize those things. Adler's psychological theory calls this positive resignation. You just need to focus on what you can change instead of focusing on what you can't change. Accept yourself for who you are and have the courage to change what you can change. This is what is called self-acceptance. If this concept is related to religious beliefs, then ask God to give you the peace to accept the things you can't change and the courage to change the things you can. Because you don't lack ability, you just lack courage. It all comes down to courage. This is the simple answer to the human question: where is happiness? Man's greatest unhappiness is when he is unable to like himself. The feeling that you are beneficial to the people around you, or that you are useful to others, is the only thing that can give you the true realization that you are valuable. So the definition of happiness is the feeling of contributing. But what needs to be noted is that if the way a person gets the feeling of contribution is to be recognized by others, in the long run, he will have no choice but to walk through life according to other people's expectations. Because there is no happiness in the feeling of contribution that is obtained through the desire to be recognized. If a person truly has the feeling of contributing, he no longer needs recognition from others because he already has the realization that he is useful to someone, without the need to spend more to be recognized by others. We don't lack ability, we just lack courage. It all comes down to courage. Book conclusion. You are not defined by your past experiences, but by the meaning you give to them that determines your current state. Happiness starts with how you love yourself. Unhappiness starts when you think you'll be happier if you're like someone else. Interpersonal relationships can be a problem when you are unable to connect with others. You don't live to satisfy other people's expectations. If you keep doing that, then you won't have faith in yourself. You will determine your happiness when you are able to fully accept yourself and be able to contribute to others around you.